So here we have another interesting news article, and it's about Windows 10. And it's not the actual article itself, although it is an interesting article. It's the comments that really got my attention, and I had already had this idea. I just wasn't thinking about how to implement it and do it on a mass scale with enough rage that would allow people to enjoy. Um, Now, here's how basically Windows 10 works. You do something, okay, and then it goes over to here to the right, and then it gets put into this system where it gets encrypted and then sent to Microsoft, right? Okay. How much or how hard do you think it would be to put penis images there and maybe text files that say you suck dick? Like constantly, and just keep sending that to them, and then bundle that up, and then like give that to, I don't know, 100 million people. You know, my computer, I can do whatever I want. They want to collect this stuff. Here you go. Here, have some extra. All right. Yeah. I'm just thinking out loud. Sorry, Google. You know, this is language people aren't used to hearing, but parents and kids need to understand that peeping toms are running your government and they're running your tech companies, and they're sick people in the brain. Okay. It's one thing when you had hackers that would find a security flaw and leave a little note in your computer saying, here's how you fix it, because they knew how to fix it. They had run into this problem and sorted it, and then they were touring around and, oh, whoa, geez, you know. And then, then you start arresting them, throwing them in jail for 20 years, right? It's like walking down the street and here's somebody's house with the door wide open. You going up and locking their door and putting a note on it saying, I was by here, here's my name, and, you know, just so you know that nothing was stolen or whatever, right? Anyway, and then of course you got the criminal element that just wandered into all this and just started doing all kinds of crappy shit. Right? So, but yeah, I really think this is going to happen. That it, they've now discussed in this article, okay, um, how much information is actually being, as they say, slurped by Windows 10, and it's disgusting. They're keylogging you, okay, and they're looking at your memory to find out what applications you're running, what you're doing, when you're doing it, how you're doing it, and I, I'm I'm sitting here thinking about getting a new computer and doing business stuff, and I'm thinking, uh, you know, how do I trust these people over here? Okay, they just sneakily tried to pull this crap on me, and I've seen these people that they hire at Microsoft are just the biggest shyster criminal types going, and it's just how does any of us trust them? You know, and this goes back to 1999. I'm not going to tell you how I got a leaked copy of uh, the the mother of Windows XP, but I took it down to my uncle's computer shop, and he was amazed I had it, considering he was a Microsoft developer. And I was like, well, I'm not going to tell you how I got this. And we put it on a machine, and it was isolated. Okay, there's just nothing else around, and we had software monitoring it, of course, seeing what it was doing. And he next day I come in, he was flipping on me. He said, "What the hell kind of shit's this?" It was trying to phone home, and this was the original XP version. This is what they had been planning since 1999. They've been wanting Windows 10 forever. So if they want to spy on you, we have to find out all these different ways. We now know all the different avenues that they use. Now we can create little bits of software that you could put on your computer that will give them garbage data, and it will be like an orbital bombardment thing. If they want to have this kind of crap, feed it to them. Feed it to them hard. They deserve it. Okay. You want to pay me for this shit? Fine. But if you don't want to pay me, okay, go fuck yourself. Okay. This is another one of the. I had another MS video where I just snapped. Okay. This is my last version of Windows, apparently, I guess, because I'm just not going to bother with Windows 10. I've had it with these clowns. Okay. I'll be moving over to Linux. All my software that I can do the 3D development is I can have it on Linux. Okay? And I got control of my operating system, what it does. It does what I want it to do, not what those morons want. And if need be, I'll just create games for myself doing that way. And then, I don't care. You know, this is, and if I do want to have some games, I'll take a Windows computer and I'll put it over there on the other side of the room with no internet at all and put games on it. Yippee-ki-yay. You know? Sorry for all the language, but, this stuff really, really, really is kind of sickening. Like, so it says right now there are two levels of data collection, basic and full. And basic, it says, takes a state of your hardware, its specifications, internet connection quality, records of crashes, and hangs by software. So it's finding out what you're running on your computer without your permission. Okay? And any compatibility problems. Driver usage data. Okay? See which apps you've installed and how you use them. I discovered this on Windows 7 a long time ago, and it's one of the reasons why when they tried to hook me on this move from 7 to 10, I was able to discover it. And how I knew that was in the games area of Windows 7, it was showing stuff that I had installed when I never put it in that directory, like in a menu. I was like, this is interesting. Wonder how this is working. So you do a little investigation. You find that they're doing things behind the scenes. And there's some DLLs that are on every version of Windows. Okay. And how do I know this? Well, I traded some information to some Russians that some Russians like to know about Windows. Especially how you got to wonder, eh? And here's one for you. And it's kind of like there are millions and millions of websites, right? And we go to them and we expect what we're going to be seeing there. The problem is that you don't know if a website you go to is really that website, or that it's run not by some government agency. Okay? And I can tell you, there are millions, hundreds of millions of these fake websites out there. Okay? And everybody's going, well, you got the NSA spying. It's not the NSA you need to worry about. Even the CIA. The CIA does a lot less to do with the internet versions. Okay? The FBI is the one that does all the internet shit. Ask them why they got 100 million or so honeypot IPs out there. What is the purpose of that? It's not like we don't know, And it's collecting data on the rest of you. It's another version of Microsoft. Wow. Maybe they think people are stupid. I really don't know. And that's the problem. People aren't stupid. Okay? What they are is uninformed, and then once they're informed and you teach them things, they enjoy that. They enjoy the knowledge. this kind of thing. They're trying to control how we have fun with PCs. They're trying to turn our PCs into a bloody console. That's what they're really, the end game here is. They want to take your operating system away from you. They want to take your control, your ability to make software, unless you pay someone to do it. And I hate to say this, but it's not going to work because it's just not. Okay? If I wanted a console, I'd go buy one. Okay? And I'm not going to use one for designing software either. Like, I mean, get that stupid idea out of your head. People are, you got to stop using these, you got to stop paying stupid amounts of money for phones. That's what's the problem here. And so one guy on this in this thing was saying how down at the bottom here when we go into comments. Let's see here. Let me see here. I'm gonna go to the bottom of this article here. Will it let me? Oh, there we go. And he was saying how the percentage of Steam users is 50% are Windows 10 users and 31% are Windows 7. The problem with those two numbers is it's only indicative of Steam. Steam is not all the internet, okay? It's not even close. Okay? If you really want a good metric, okay? I did a post about a month ago or inside the month or a month or so ago, and I showed that I think it was in 2016 Android was approximately 65% of all the world's internet traffic. Now Android Linux, which is a flavor that is made by Google, okay, isn't just used by Google. That Huawei, which is involved with 5G and their own Chinese market, uses it. Okay, now they're branching away, so a good chunk of that big number is going to change. But the key metric here is that 65% 2 years ago was Android. It's up around 75% now. Microsoft is bleeding market share. So is Apple. And why is that, everybody? It's because they're treating all of us like shitheads. Okay? While the competition is saying, this is what you want, and you want to be able to make applications for it, and you want to have some fun with it. Okay, here you go. Right? Now, mind you, Google's not perfect. Neither is Huawei. That's politics. I'm not here for that. I'm just stating some actual numbers. And it could be that it's more than that or a little bit less, but that's an estimate, okay? And the fact of the matter is that, you know, with Microsoft going into the phone market again with a flavor of Linux, that's telling you, and they're stopping their own browser now, and they're going with a Chromium version, which is basically Google Chrome. It's telling you who's they've given up on certain aspects of things. Now I'm going to say this to Microsoft: if you're not going to use your operating system for the telephone, why do you have Windows 10 at all? Why not just give us the Windows 7 that we all want? You know, let us upgrade it. Okay, people would pay for that. They'd pay for a service pack. I mean, you know, every 2 years, $20. Okay, you got how many people in the world running it? There you go. Okay, but I'm not the guy running Microsoft to tell them that, right? And they won't. They won't. They think that this stealing all our data and all this stuff is, and they're being paid by people sick amounts of money for it. When the money dries up and we start making these little add-ons that give them nice little dick pictures, they're going to realize that people have had enough. And it was in the comment section here of this site where this came about. It was far down, midways down, and there's a huge discussion on how it's done and how you would do it. how you would inject uh, uh, stuff into these HT encrypted little things. I already know how to do it. It's already here in my brain. Okay, it's already here. You know, I was thinking of that when Windows 10 came along. When I saw Barnacles, that former Microsoft dev, showing me all the little places where you had to do all this stuff manually, I was sitting there going, I still don't want Windows 10 though. The odds that we miss something is too great. Okay, that's the problem with all this. They can always find a way to slide something in on you in a security update that you might not realize, right? Is that what I think it is? Ah, silly little thing. Anyway, I just wanted to put this out here because, some people, think that Microsoft is being such, they're such great people or something and whatnot. They're, they're getting worse and worse, not better. Choose your priority. What they're effectively doing is illegal in my home country of Canada because in order to collect any data, okay, or private information in Canada requires written consent every time you do it. I go to the doctor's office and the doctor wants information. They bring out a form and I have to actually sign it twice. I have to give a copy to the doctor and to my social worker or disability worker, okay? So, and keep a copy for myself, right? So there's 3 copies there, right? Because if they don't do that, it's a federal offense, and they can be badly fined. It will stop their practice. They will be stopped from practicing, okay? And that doesn't change. An end user license agreement, I can't sign away that right. I've asked them at the office, and they said that's not possible. The only way you could sign that right away is to sign to be an invalid or something like that, where somebody else actually has to come in and sign for you. It's still required by law. Okay? And it's like the discussion also goes down on in here about um, you can't sign civil rights away um, in certain countries, like in most civilized countries. I can't like suddenly go, well, chopping my fingers off, I want to give you the right to do it. You can't do that, okay? You can't do that, all right? You can't do certain things like this, And I can't like say, I don't know. The whole thing is just mind blowing how much they're collecting, and I was just like, yeah, it's even more than I thought. So I'll put a link in the description for this, and see this kind of thing is a little bit more important, okay? And it's something that all of us can do something about, okay? And you're asking yourself, well, I'm on Windows 10 and I don't know how to do all this stuff, and there's actually, if you go to the website here and you look in the description, there are 2 things that you can actually get and download that can help you mitigate all this telemetry. And there's nothing that you might have to run it every time there's an update, okay? But that's too bad. I mean, that's the price of your ease of using Microsoft Windows 10, okay? I mean, even going from XP to 7, I was a really late adopter, okay? Because I have had to find ways to make certain softwares that there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. And why would I want something that does less, or there isn't a newer version that works, right? So I had to find ways to find certain things to run. And once I'd found that enough of them, I could then migrate into Windows 7. And that was just basically for my gaming, right? This is only for my gaming. And at this point, it's for 3D development, right? And doing stuff like that. But the more I find out about that situation, the more I find that I can download a version of Unreal Engine for Linux. I can get Blender for Linux. I can get a lot of these composite things for Linux. Uh, why? You know, why not just make my own games for myself on Linux and then, whatever. And as far as graphic software, I mean, other than Blender, then you got GIMP and you got other things like that, right? There is. It's amazing. If I was to take a stock machine with Linux packed with all the really good apps and put them in there, and then have a Windows user just go, here you go. At first they might go, this looks a little different, and then it runs better. You know, it's safer. It's far safer. Okay, don't let anyone kid yourself. Okay. Yep. Yep. The official list of phone home info is revealed. And that's just what they're telling you. There's more. Trust me, there's more. Anyway, I'll upload this and you guys can have a look at it. And I do suggest if you're running Windows 10 and it concerns you a little bit how much they're slurping up, like not everybody has unlimited bandwidth either, eh? And are you paying for my bandwidth when you do all this stuff? Like how much bandwidth does all this use? Okay, because I think Microsoft owes us all some money in a class action lawsuit. Okay? All right. First of all, you're stealing my private information without written consent every time. Then you're using my bandwidth to do it. You see how these things are kind of interconnected here? It's not right. Anyway, throw this out, throw it up, and see where this leads. I mean, wow. How the mighty have fallen, eh? And there's even a discussion about phones and different technologies, how they're all doing, variations of this kind of stuff. And when's it end? When's it end, Does it? Anyway, take care, everybody.